The rain hammered down on my porch in Cedar Hollow, a quiet stretch of rolling hills in western Kentucky, on a stormy October night in 2024. Lightning cracked, illuminating six figures standing before me, their cheap tactical vests glistening, looking like a book club that had stumbled into a militia fantasy. Brenda Walsh, the 55-year-old HOA president of Willow Creek Estates, stood front and center, her blonde hair plastered but her face a mask of righteous fury. Marcus Hayes, by the authority of the Willow Creek Community Action Task Force, you're under civilian arrest, she declared, holding a laminated sheet, her warrant, printed in Comic Sans, rain streaking its flimsy plastic. Flanking her was Arthur Reed, a retired hardware clerk whose loud weed whacker was his only claim to fame, clutching zip ties with trembling hands. For others, including Greg Tate, a jittery accountant, shifted nervously, their bravado wilting under the storm's weight. I leaned against the doorframe, my father's old Zippo lighter in hand, and flicked it open. The flame danced, steady and defiant, as I lit a cigarette, its ember glowing red in the gloom. I took a slow drag, exhaling smoke into the damp air, and fixed Brenda with a calm stare, the one I used in court when a witness started to crack. "Brenda," I said, voice low, "you're committing at least 6 felonies right now. Trespassing's the appetizer, conspiracy to kidnap's the entree, but impersonating law enforcement? That's the dessert judges love to serve with hard time." Brenda scoffed, her laugh sharp and brittle. "We're not impersonating anyone, Mr. Hayes. We're the authority here. Your wildflowers threaten our community." I let that sink in, another drag warming my throat. Wildflowers. That's what brought us here. My eyes flicked past her to the dark road, waiting. Any second now. I'm Marcus Hayes, 45, a district attorney who traded Louisville's chaos for 50 acres of peace 4 months ago. This land, with its oak groves and stone house, was my refuge from a 2-year war against a drug cartel case that left scars no verdict could heal. Cedar Hollow, bordered by a state forest and Willow Creek's manicured lawns, was my sanctuary until Brenda decided my wildflower meadow, a riot of black-eyed Susans and coneflowers, violated her HOA's aesthetic harmony. That night, as Brenda's posse stood on my porch, I wasn't just a neighbor. I was a prosecutor, and they'd walked into my courtroom. Brenda's warrant was a farce, but her delusion was real. Arthur stepped forward, zip ties raised like a sacred offering. "Sir, for your safety, hands behind your back," he stammered. I almost pitied him, followers led by a queen convinced she was untouchable. Then the darkness erupted in red and blue strobes, silent and sudden, painting the rain-soaked trees. 3 sheriff's cruisers formed a semicircle at my driveway's end, doors opening with practiced calm. Sheriff Nate Ellis, a friend for 12 years, stepped into the light, his bulk commanding despite the storm. "Evening, Brenda," he boomed, eyes hard. "Late for a neighborhood watch, isn't it?" Brenda's face drained, her warrant drooping. "Sheriff, thank God. This man's a menace. We had to act." I crushed my cigarette under my boot, stepping forward. "Act how, Brenda?" "By kidnapping the district attorney." I pulled my badge from my jacket, its gold shield catching the light. Gasps rippled through her group. Arthur dropped the zip ties, clattering on the wet porch. Greg muttered, "Oh no," his face crumpling. This wasn't a spur-of-the-moment blunder. It started 3 months ago, when I bought this land to escape the cartel case's echoes, lies on the stand, victims' tears, threats whispered in court halls. My house, a timber fortress, promised silence, broken only by birds and wind. I planted the meadow to reclaim something pure, a canvas of color for bees and butterflies, free from the gray of my work. For weeks, it was bliss coffee on the deck, soil under my nails, peace I hadn't known in years. Then Brenda's white Lexus rolled up, her clipboard a tyrant scepter. "Mr. Hayes," she said, lips pursed at my meadow, "your landscaping's unregulated. Our community demands order, manicured lawns, approved shrubs." I kept my tone light. "This is my land, Ms. Walsh, not part of your HOA." Her smile was pitying. "Everything visible from Willow Creek concerns us. Consider Boxwoods." She marched off, leaving dust and a chill. A week later, a $150 fine arrived, citing aesthetic noncompliance, irrelevant bylaws attached. I fired back a legal letter, citing my deed, county ordinances, and state laws supporting native plants. Checkmate, I thought. Brenda declared war. Her campaign began subtly: a beige sedan circling my house, a dog walker snapping photos, Arthur's binoculars glinting from the road. Intimidation, not surveillance. I stayed calm, the neighbor in me fading, the prosecutor waking. I installed 4 high-res cameras with night vision, their feeds encrypted, covering every inch of my border. Brenda's patrols became my evidence, hours of HD footage piling up. A month later, a law firm's 12-page thread accused me of public nuisance and environmental hazards. I smiled. It was a paper tiger designed to scare. Using an anonymous email, I posed a hypothetical to the firm's partner, dismantling their case with appellate precedents and hinting at malicious prosecution risks. 2 days later, they withdrew. But Brenda wasn't done. Her secret HOA meeting birthed the Willow Creek Community Action Task Force, WCCAT, a memo outlining visual deterrence, tactical vests, direct engagement, citations, and civilian detainment, with zip ties. They'd gone paramilitary, and I was target 1. The final spark came Tuesday evening. Arthur's truck blocked my driveway, he and 2 vested WCCAT members standing guard. I recorded from my dashboard, warning, "This is unlawful restraint, Arthur. Move, or it's a felony conspiracy." Doubt flickered. He moved after 50 seconds. Humiliated, Brenda greenlit Phase 3. That night, I called Nate. They're planning a civilian arrest, probably soon. When I hit my alarm's panic button, come quiet, no sirens. Conspiracy to kidnap, by the book. Nate sighed. Stay safe, Marcus. I waited, cameras rolling, whiskey in hand, prepping cartel arguments. The storm hit Thursday, masking their approach. My phone buzzed. Camera 4 caught Arthur cutting my gate's chain. 6 figures crept up, Brenda leading her speech. I pressed the panic button, its red light a silent gavel. On the porch, I let Brenda's drama play her arrest. Arthur's zip ties before revealing my badge. Nate's cruisers sealed her fate. Hands on heads, he ordered. Brenda shrieked. I'm the HOA president. I am the law. As deputies cuffed her, Arthur, and Greg, their vests absurd in the rain. Greg sobbed. She said we had authority. Nate stayed, shaking his head. You could have called sooner, Marcus. I grinned. A misdemeanor wouldn't cut it. Felony conspiracy sends the message. Morning broke. The story: exploding HOA president arrested in vigilante raid on DA's home. Leaked WCCAT footage. Brenda's pre-raid rant went viral. HOA overreach trending. Cable news dissected her delusion. Comics mocked her Comic Sans warrant. The trial was swift. Me footage, Wuckett's memo, Greg's testimony airtight. Brenda and Arthur got 7 years each for conspiracy, kidnapping, and impersonation. Greg, probation for cooperating. Willow Creek's HOA dissolved, its finances gutted, replaced by a lean association respecting boundaries. My cartel case closed the same month, a dual victory over powers abuse. A year later, July 2025, I stood in my meadow, a sea of sunflowers and bergamot buzzing with bees. Cedar Hollow felt alive, free. Willow Creek's new rules stayed on their side, residents nodding respectfully. Brenda's kingdom, built on fear of fading, collapsed under her own weight. I touched a coneflower, its reality grounding me. Peace wasn't silence, it was the quiet after a fight well won, wild and unregulated, like my garden. Was Marcus's trap justice or entrapment? Should Brenda's sentence be lighter or harsher? Can Cedar Hollow stay free, or will new Brenda's rise? Share your thoughts below, hit that like button, and subscribe for stories that demand your stand.